I'm going to show you how to make this cute merino wool felt tray with leather hanging loop. It's perfect for holding your little sewing supplies and helping you create the perfect making space. So let's get started. In your kit will come a piece of merino wool felt that's 6 inches by 6 inches, and it will already be pre-hole punched and ready for you to set the rivets. You'll also have a piece of leather that will act as the hanging loop, and 5 double cap rivets, 4 that you need for the tray and 1 extra. We're going to start by grabbing our wool, and it doesn't have a right or wrong side, so just pick a side. And then we can grab our double cap rivets and our little piece of leather. Double cap rivets have 2 sides, a side with a post and a side with a cap. So these 2 together will be 1 rivet. Let me go ahead and show you. They look the same on both sides. This veg tan leather is real leather, and it will age over time and get a little bit darker. So the first thing we're going to do is pick a side of our wool, and it doesn't matter, to fold like this. So you're folding it towards the inside. So this is the outside here, and we're aligning the 2 holes in this corner. And then I'm going to grab a double cap rivet, the post side, and push it into those holes there and flip this over. Now I want to look on this side too and see that the top edges here are aligned. And then I'm going to grab a cap and just click that in place. Now this is not set yet until we hammer it, but it will hold enough for you to work your project. So let's go ahead and do that to one more side, sticking the post side of a double cap rivet in from the outside, pushing the post through the other hole, flipping this over, and making sure that these edges are aligned before I connect the cap. Let's go ahead and add the leather hanging loop on. So the leather has a smooth side and a rough side, and the smooth side is the right side. So let's go ahead and fold that in half, align the 2 holes there. You can also see that there's an angle here. Well, I like the outermost point of the angle to touch the bottom of the tray. So I'm going to lay it in like that. Let's go ahead and get a post in from the outside of the tray, and then we can lay our leather down on the post and then pinch this so the post goes through the other side of the felt. Now it's going to be a little bit tighter, but it's still totally fine and it will set really well. Let's go ahead and align these edges like we did on the other ones and connect a cap there. So here's our last side. Oh, that popped off, which it might sometimes if it feels a little tight. So let's go ahead and get that back in there. So again, they'll hold for you to work your project, but they're not going to be strong until we hit them with the hammer. Okay, so there's that. Stay put until we hammer you. One more double cap rivet post, put it in from the outside, push it through the other hole, align those edges, and connect the cap. Okay, so this is set up now to hammer these rivets, but let's talk for a second about double cap rivets. So you could see here on the tray that I already made that when the rivet is set, it indents into the felt. So I hammered this, and it doesn't matter what side you hammer it from, it'll just flatten. So the idea with a double cap rivet is when you're setting it, I'm going to actually connect this just so you could see what I mean. When you're setting it, you're just smashing the rivet down and it's getting shorter. And as you smash the rivet, the little post in here, it creates like this little mushroom shape inside the cap, and it creates a strong hold. And then it pinches whatever's in between the 2 caps, and that's how it holds it together. So you could see here, if I pull on this, it's not going to pull apart, right? And so that's what creates the shape of this cute tray. So as we are setting these rivets, there's a few things that are important to remember. One, we want to make sure that we use a hard surface. like this piece of stone, and if you don't have a piece of stone like this, you can use the ground or just use a hard, stable, non-bouncy surface. Okay, the idea there is that you want to, when you hit the rivet, smash the rivet down. And if you're on a bouncy surface or a surface that's not hard, the force that you use when you hit the rivet with your hammer, it won't actually transfer to the rivet to set it correctly. It won't push it down and set a really tight rivet. So that's why I like to say make sure that you're on a hard, stable surface. And then the other thing we want to make sure is that when we go to set our rivet, it's vertical on the surface, so it's not crooked or anything, and that way we get a nice set. So I'm actually just going to kind of pinch my merino wool felt a little bit like this, so I can make sure that my rivet is nice and stable and vertically aligned on my hard surface. And then all you need is a regular household hammer. And what I'm going to do is start with medium to light hits, and as I start to see the rivet set down, I'm going to hit it a couple more times a little bit harder. You could see there that the rivet is indenting into the leather. All right, let's go ahead and set the one that wanted to keep popping off because I don't want to lose it, the one that has the leather loop in it. Okay, so again, making sure it's vertically aligned on my hard surface and that everything's set up the way I want it to, and then go ahead and whack that with the hammer. Okay. Working our way around and doing all four. Okay, and that's all my rivets set on my cute leather tray. And it's ready to hold my little sewing supplies and help me create a beautiful, inspiring making space. And if I want, I can store it by hanging it on this hook, on this leather loop here. Thanks for making.